Start again.
Okay.
Okay, welcome everybody, and welcome to the Portsmouth Coffee Talks Evening Edition show. My name is James Sim Overton, and I'm here with co-host Leah Drake Stitt.
Hello. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good evening.
Okay, we're Leah Drake Stitt, and we have Conrad also as a guest host. And we're here with special guests from the Hampton Roads Black Caucus. We have the president, Ron Taylor, and Vice President Nina Francis. Hello, everybody.
Hello, James. How you doing? How is everyone doing this evening?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing tonight?
Wonderful. Thank you.
We're doing great. So, we welcome the Hampton Roads Black Caucus here, and we want to start out by letting them sort of give us a little, bring us up to date. They've been around for a while, and many people know of them, but for our audience sake, who might not know what they're all about, so give us a little update on. Well, let us know when you started, your mission, and what you're doing. What are you up to today?
Okay. Ron, you want to take that one?
We started. Yeah, I'll take it. We started about 10 years, about 10, 11 years ago. And we have come a mighty long ways in our mission, in our philosophy, in our goals. And our goals was to impact the political process and support the African American community in in the areas of economics, uh, community safety, uh, education, and more representation in the political process. And that's what we're about. And me, myself, not being original here from here, I'm from Georgia, born and raised. And I just bring the tools they gave me to get things done. And down in Georgia, we didn't get it done by ourselves. It took a array of individuals to help us pull through the rough. And I believe that if we're going to make any achievements, we are better together than apart. And we are nonpartisan because not all the time that you're going to find candidates uh, that look like us that will be in a race. But my thing is, if they are supportive of our initiative and it's going to tote the water for us, why not get behind that candidate? And we are nonpartisan. And people say what they want to, but that's the way we are. People try to paint you a certain picture or box you into a corner for whatever reason it is. It's okay. We still here. And what we are doing, we still pressing forward and and trying to make sure that our that members and the citizens of the community are engaged, encourage them to get out and vote, regardless of who they vote for and what side of the aisle they're on. But long as they get out and vote and exercise, especially we as African Americans, because a lot of bloodshed was shedded down in the streets, and a lot of sacrifices was made for us to be able to exercise our right to vote. Because if you look at it, uh, uh, Mr. James, it was only a few years ago we couldn't even vote. We didn't have the right to vote, and people just take it for granted. And we have to remind them and give them a point of reference. It hadn't always been like this. Hmm.
Okay, Nina, did you have anything to add?
No, he pretty much got it all. It's just It's a group of people of all races, all political backgrounds who come together to improve our circumstances. That's it.
And when I was talking to, I think it was Ron earlier this week, the difference between, a PAC, a political action committee, and your organization. You said, Ron, you are not a PAC, but you do endorse candidates. So what's kind of the difference? I don't know if the difference may be because do you raise money for the candidates or because that's what a PAC does. They raise money and then they endorse the candidates. So how are you different from a PAC?
No, we're not a PAC. We are the grassroots operation. That's what we are, a community grassroots operation, helping candidates. What are the needs of the community? What are the issues of the African American community? And making sure that they represent that, because we have members, and so our members is the one that support those candidates. Majority of our members, whatever candidate that we endorse, because it's they vote and tell us who to endorse, so they support those candidates by getting the word out, spreading the news about the candidate, and telling this is the candidate that will tote our water. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and one other question or statement before the other hosts get in. A lot of different groups that either grassroots groups or PACs, they either lean one way or the other. They either lean to the right or to the left. And what the candidates they usually support are either Democrats or Republicans or maybe independents. So, and you all being nonpartisan, you understand why people might try to label you as Republicans because of some of the candidates you all support. It might be Republicans. And as you stated, it's whoever serves the best interests, of the people that you represent, the people that the voters. So explain to people why it's so important for y'all to be nonpartisan and why they should understand what nonpartisan is. It means that you could go with either candidate, whether they're Republican or Democrat. Because some people have a problem. Once you support one or the other, that's where they label you.
Yeah. And if you go and check our track record, because they say you can say what you want to by your mouth, but your action is speaking so loud that I don't hear nothing your mouth is saying. If you look at all our endorsement, it's on both sides of the aisle. And so it's important because just because somebody, whether they're a Democrat or Republican, say, oh, I'm going to support this, you have to understand if it's in the state level, if they don't have control of that chamber or both chambers in the government house, you might, whatever they tell you may not even get done. What they should say, I'm going to try to work to get your initiative done on the floor. But if you know how to work on both sides of the aisle, then whoever's in charge, if this person you endorse, whether a Democrat or Republican, say, hey, I'm gonna champion your cause, then most likely you're gonna support that. And that's what happened with the African American community, because a lot of people don't know that we came out of the party of Lincoln. But what transformed us to the Democratic Party? A lot of people don't even know our history, and it's a rich history. It was stemmed down in Georgia, and during 1927. See, a lot of people don't know that we was in the party of Lincoln, the Republican Party, because they freed us. They championed our cause. But who put the the Jim Crow laws in place and all that. It was the Democrat side. That's who it was. But the blacks started defecting from the Republican Party in 1927 during the Great Flood down in the Delta, because Hoover promised to do something and he didn't do it, and that started a small migration. But the biggest migration happened when King got arrested down in Georgia, where I'm from, and they were getting ready to put him on the chain gang. Got him and Julian Barnes. And Daddy King, who was a Republican, him and Jackie Robinson and all of them, went to Richard Nixon and said, hey, my son is about to be put on the chain gang. If he go on the chain, they're going to shoot that man. They're going to kill him. They can say he ran and kill him. And what happened? Nixon said, I'm not pandering to y'all. And what happened? Daddy King went to John F. Kennedy, who was Nixon's opponent, and asked him, and his brother, who was a lawyer, called down in Georgia and with some of his friends and had him released. And that's when Daddy King said, I got a whole block of black Republicans. We're going over to the Democrats. And that's what started the migration. Us going
So, go ahead.
over to the Democrats. And they picked up the mantle and started championing our cause.
It's like you froze there for a minute.
Yeah.
On both sides.
Yeah.
Huh?
You know, it looked like you froze there for a minute, and we missed
But
a
it's good to
little
be
bit
able to
of
work on
your
both sides of
last
the
comment.
aisle, because you never know. And it's good to be able to work on both sides of the aisle, because say like if if the Democrats in control, if they don't have enough votes to carry the water for you, you may have a couple of Republicans that will come over and help tote the water if you have endorsed them. That's a possibility. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, and vice versa.
Okay, and one last thing I promised.
That's why you have to know. You have to be not. That's what. Go ahead.
Okay, and one other thing, co-host, I promised my last one for now.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
For now. Okay, the Hampton Roads Black Caucus, and you use the term Hampton Roads, which, I guess you deal with the South Side and the Peninsula, and then you have these individual cities. Now, how are you represented in each one of these cities? Say, like, when a council race comes up in Portsmouth, are you all involved in that, or in Chesapeake and Suffolk? Are you all involved in all the cities, or do you deal with the issues on a Hampton Roads? Just basically Hampton Roads. So do you go into each city and try to deal with the issues separately?
Well, we in all 7 cities. We don't deal with the national level because all politics are local, from the governor, attorney general, the lieutenant governor, all the way back down to the delegates, the senators, your water, all the way down to your circuit court, your court, your clerk of the court, who has to be elected. And we got members in all 7 cities, and most of them are actively engaged. And they know the issues, and some of them bring us to it, and some of them don't. But we monitor it. And most of our board members are some of them in all different cities. So that's how we monitor a lot of things. And just like it's this bag tax, people are calling us on that and say, hey, what is this bag tax they're trying to put on us over here in Virginia Beach? We need to do, they're trying to tax us on that. I say all politics are local. Here they are trying to throw a bag tax on you, and so just stuff like that we have to monitor and keep abreast of and get the issue and call, deal with our city councilmen and stuff like that and say, hey, you need to come on our show with Nina and explain why you want to put a bag tax on the city citizen of Virginia Beach.
Let me ask you a question.
We try to stay engaged at the grassroots.
Okay, you're not a PAC. Where do you get your funding sources from? And do you let the public know where your funding sources are coming from?
The board members have to pay dues. That's where it mostly come from. Us
Uh-huh.
in membership.
And do you
Mhm.
receive money from politicians as well? Or is it just through dues? Is it just through dues
No.
that you're able to
Only way
fund your
they give money if they is that. But say for example, go ahead.
No, I wouldn't say anything. Go ahead.
If we say like for example, if we go, okay, if we are doing the Breakfast of Champions, honoring this next next Saturday, they have to buy tickets. They have to buy they can buy a table. They can have their name put in the program. Just like that's what we do.
Where do you think the misnomer comes from in the community, where those individuals in the community think that you are a Republican organization, although you see you're a nonpartisan organization?
That all started when that big hoopla when Youngkin got endorsed. The members voted.
You're asking what
the majority of them voted to endorse Youngkin. So from that one incident, I forget all the other years that the Democrat governor was endorsed. Forget that. That's what they did. Youngkin was endorsed. So now all of a sudden we are Republican.
How did y'all go about vetting those individuals for governor?
So we sent out a survey. Like right now, the survey is sent to all of the candidates, local people running, and we announce it. I've said it plenty of times. Hey, on all our social media, constant contact. Hey, the survey is out for the candidates to fill out. So you have that route. Then we have member meetings. Like we just had a caucus connection. That's the opportunity to come intermingle with the members. I mean, you want our endorsement, but you don't want to see us or talk to us. Kind of difficult. But you have that too. So between the interactions with the members at the caucus connections, the meetings, the Breakfast of the Champions, and that survey, that is how the members get their information on who they are going to vote for.
And your membership is comprised of how many people?
Right now, it's like over 200.
In various cities?
Yes.
And how often do you all come together to meet, to make decisions or discussions about what's going on in the various communities so that you can make the decision as to what is needed most at this particular moment?
So we have, it's kind of broken down, although some cities don't have one. We have community engagement members, chairs. So each city has a community engagement chair, although we have a couple of vacancies right now. But they keep us abreast of what's going on in each city, along with the members. I mean, the members contact us and let us know. But we have meetings roughly about every 3 months. But the board have meetings every month.
And usually when you endorse these candidates, do they ever come back and kind of let you know the things that they're doing and what impact is having on the minority community? Or
yes,
once you've endorsed them, is it over, or what takes place?
So once you're endorsed, we keep an eye on you. Like Ron, he can tell you the many conversations that he has with the governor. But we do keep talking to them. We follow their path on what they're doing in the office that they got elected to. And if we don't like it, we say we don't like it. If they doing okay, then we say you're doing all right.
Have you all been able to address with him how he's been touting lab schools, but yet he has crusade against racial equality in education. And have you talked with him about taking photos with black business leaders? But he vetoed a bill for women and minorities to get fair treatment in state contracts. Has that been discussed at all? I mean,
Uh-oh.
we lost him.
We lost him.
Well, yeah, I was just wondering because, once, we know that we all need to keep politicians accountable. And especially if we say we're working to be a benefit to the minority community, then we have to kind of hold their feet to the fire, and I know he appointed a state commissioner who said discussing racism alienates whites. Well, what do we do to hold him accountable? He received your endorsement, but he seems to be doing things that are contrary or that's not good for the Black community. How when do you meet with him? Do you talk to him? Do you tell him about your feelings about these decisions that he's making as he go across country and he's joining with all of the individuals who are talking this race theory and being woke and all of those things? Have you all had an opportunity to talk to him about that?
So I do know that Ron does discuss things with him. At the end of the day, we can't make the man change his mind on what he does, but we can tell him how we feel about it, and we can hope that he knows that the members are watching. So there is going to be a time to be reelected.
Well, he can't run again for governor, so he know he's in a good spot. He got that endorsement, and he cannot run again, not for governor, but I'm sure but
he can run for something else.
Yes, exactly. Now, John,
that's what I'm saying. People will pay attention to what is being done and remember it.
For what it's worth, the HRBC also endorsed McAuliffe before. And that was what the race was between Terry McAuliffe and Youngkin. So their prerogative, they changed their mind.
John Gantz out of Texas was asking, he's one of our co-hosts. He said, do you feel that the endorsement of Youngkin was advantageous to the communities that he serves, the Black community, I should say?
So it depends. Like some businesses excelled, some businesses didn't. So it kind of depends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ron tried to get back on, but I don't see him up there now. So I'm going to continue to try to bring him back on. No. But anyway, with the endorsement of how did that reflect some of the other endorsements you made? Were the other endorsements that were didn't think like Youngkin's or were leaning to the left or something like that? Because if you're non-partisan, I guess you have to strike a balance somewhere down the line in order to let people know that you're not still nonpartisan. Because and you said the record, if you go back in the record, it was, and Conrad just said that you have a record of supporting Democratic governor before and things like that. But I just wonder, I think Youngkin's kind of showed his hand before he got into office. So that's why I would just wondering about that, the people that made that choice. But sometimes people want to see something different, and that's the way they go. But I just wonder, by him showing his hand before he even got elected, that choice was kind of, me leaning to the right, that choice was kind of different. But anyway.
I mean, I can't be like, I don't know which members voted for him. I can't be like, well, why did you vote for him? Why did you vote for him? I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know they had the majority.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll go to some some other questions. But I think once you all endorse him, even though individual members didn't tell why, the group had to tell why. I guess they had to say a reason why they really did it. And I think Ron kind of, I don't know if he finished kind of explaining that, but I didn't really hear the reason. But let's move on to.
Let me just ask one
go ahead.
question before you move on. Nina,
We can come back to it.
In light of the fact that he has gone against the community in major ways, do you all have a mechanism in place where you can come back to the community and say, look, we endorsed him. We thought he was going to do A, B, and C. Yet and still, he turned around and he did D, E, and F. We are not in agreement with what he has done with D, E, and F. You know, I mean, just so that the public can know, you don't get that label. You know, and I know you've endorsed McAuliffe and you endorsed other folks who've run before, you know, different. But do you have a mechanism in place so you can let the public know? Although we endorsed him, we are not in agreement with the educational policy, with the health commissioner's policy, with the business policy. You know, is anything in place to address that so that the community don't label you? You know, you see what I'm saying, Nina?
I hear what you're saying, but here's the thing. We endorsed Northrup. And when that photo came out, we didn't go back and say, hey, although we endorsed them, you know, it doesn't kind of work like that.
Yeah, but many organizations did speak up. You know, after that blackface came out, many organizations who had endorsed him, they came forth and they said, look, we don't like this. You need to address this. You need to discuss this, and you need to tell us why. You need to tell us if this is who you are. You know,
many Democrats wanted him to resign immediately.
They wanted him to resign, definitely.
Well, some Democrats did not want him to. Some Democrats backed him in that blackface.
Yeah,
I could agree with that. Yeah.
And he stayed there in that
blackface. And I really wanted Ron to be in here on that too, because he's one of the originals of the organization. So some of these questions really should go to him. I wish you know, yeah, and you're doing a good job.
You're doing a good job,
in holding it up, but you know, it shouldn't be all on you because Ron, one of the founders of the group, I can say, and wish his connection was better, and he was here to really give some light on some of the answers, some of the questions we are asking. You, as a group, do you all have any expectations going into an election period? Of what you're looking for in the candidates before, you know, that's why I mentioned some candidates show their hand ahead of time. So that's why I was wondering if you have any expectations ahead of an election cycle, because by then you already know who's running. Mm-hmm. So what you'll be looking for. So when the decision is made, it's more of an informed decision.
So again, each member has a vote. I know what I'm looking for when I'm voting for somebody. I know what. Oh, there he is. He's back. But each member, we do have the pillars, the 4 pillars. So if they're going to help with the advancement of education, business growth. You say something wrong?
Can you hear us, Ron?
He was just saying hello.
Oh, okay.
Ron, business growth, the 4 pillars of our. So during the course of his campaign, he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do these things," and you know, he engaged with the members, so he got the endorsement. We invite everybody, Democrat, Republican, Independent, anybody, to come engage with the members.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you a good example. Ms. Nina, you were there with the Caucus Connection. I just watched that on YouTube the other day. Pretty good showing. But it seemed like the only ones who wanted to show up were some Republicans. And you guys did invite Democrats. So the onus would be on them to show up.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
And as much as I personally would like Democrats to get a lot of support, if they don't make their own effort, then you can't fully blame them. for who they end up endorsing if the only ones who show up are Republicans.
You know,
Yeah, the accountability goes for all, for both sides, you know. So, and if you feel like we throw these same kind of questions at a Democratic candidate, you know, the same thing, because oftentimes they need to be held accountable or answer some of the things why they're not doing some of the things that they actually ran on. So, Ron, while you were gone, Nina was doing a good job of fielding questions about the Youngkin's choice that the organization made, and it was one of the main things was, you know, it was like he kind of showed his hand that when he was running. So, but the choice was made to endorse him anyway. So my question after that was, what would you all as an organization be looking for in a candidate during the political season before once you find out who's running? The group has to have some sort of expectation they'll be looking for. So I'm asking that, and if you can answer that, so I can further understand the choice that was made for Youngkins, because you might have had some expectations that he filled.
It's those 4 pillars that we look for a candidate to support and tote the water for. To Leah's point, what we did was some of the board members met with Youngkin before he even got sworn in, and gave him a white paper for our group, and said, this is some of the expectations that we, if out of endorsement, this is what we want you to do. And then after about a year, we met. You had a deep.
Get your Wi-Fi, Ron. I'm sure.
Because you're not doing what we asking you to. And
you're freezing.
So we gave him a D-, and so in January, and so we're gonna meet. We on the hook for meeting with him again. Yeah, to find and go back with our white paper that we gave him, because he has a copy of it, and he brings his team, his staff in there, and try to figure out how we can get to some of the expectations that we put on him. And so that's what we're going to do here soon. Go back again. Because, like I say, we have to hold him accountable.
Exactly. And Ron, in light of what Conrad, the explanation of Conrad just gave a great explanation about the Democrats didn't show up and all of that. I know for me, until I heard that y'all were coming onto the show, I had not really read or seen what your platform was or seen what your pillars were. But I, like so many people in the community, felt that you all were a Republican organization. So it's important that you tell your story so that people can know exactly who you are. And maybe many of the Democrats didn't show because maybe they were thinking like I was thinking, that you were a Republican organization. So it's important to let people, you tell your story. And I know it's on Facebook and what have you, but for some reason there's a misconception in the community that the Hampton Roads Black Caucus is a Republican organization.
Yeah, and that's and when I did my interview, news interview, right? Because I didn't go out there, everybody wanted to know what happened. And one of the things is, I said this is directly correlation with the Bible. They said we're a Republican front. I said, well, that's the same thing they said about Jesus when he was delivering demons. Well, you do the work of the devil. Jesus said, how can I do the work of the devil if I'm casting out demons? When I'm doing the work of the Republican Party, why are we endorsing Democrat? That'll be working against what you say I'm supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't make sense to me. And another thing is, during the governor race, right? I reached out to former Governor Terry McCullough. I am. Because I got their cell number. I text them, please connect members that want to see you. They didn't do nothing. They didn't come. They didn't fill out their question. I don't even think they fill out their questionnaire. They survey. It's almost like, oh, they voted for us last time. They will vote for us again. So we endorsed him the first time he ran. I don't know. And so I reached out to him multiple times. I got the text messages where I sent to them, sent to those three. They didn't do nothing. It's almost like they said somebody told them, don't pay them no mind. Go ahead.
I want to give another anecdote that in that election season, the HRBC was able to have interviews on YouTube with the governor, attorney general, and lieutenant general candidates. But it was the Republicans who even wanted to sit down in the first place.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Well, that's one of the reasons for.
But I tell you, like when. Yeah, and then the last time, when Ralph Nordstrom ran.
Yes.
Oh, he sent a surrogate. He had his. I took pictures with his wife. He had people on the ground meeting with us, and him, Fairfax, and all of them won. Yeah.
Okay, and like I was ready to say, this is one of the reasons for having the show, because I think what Leah was saying, how she felt, and a lot of people in our audience, I think quite a few of them were thinking, because of that. And like you said, it's kind of unfair that because you supported Yonkins this one time and people didn't look back at your prior record to see who you supported before. But because I guess it's because it was Yonkins. I don't know, but that's why we wanted to bring you on the show and to have you be able to say, and I know you probably explain this to other people. Go ahead, Ron. Go ahead.
But what happens is they got different people have their echo chamber that they believe. And I'm not going to believe everything somebody tell me. I'm not going to do that. You tell me something, I'm going to fact check you. Sure am. Because when we endorsed, what's her name, from Virginia Beach as a delegate, she put an untruth out, and we had endorsed, and we said, you put an untruth out, we're going to fact check, and we're going to pull our endorsement. And we asked her for the facts. The board asked for. She never delivered to this day. She haven't delivered the facts, but she put that untruth out there on another candidate, but did not give us what she got her what she supported her statement. And that's what kind of stuff we try to do, is make sure if we endorse a candidate, they put something out there, they better, and somebody complain that's not true, then we're gonna come back and ask you to produce the truth.
And let me make this point too. I think in the beginning, early on,
goes to credibility.
you have.
But the thing is,
he's delayed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of delayed.
His Wi-Fi is freezing up.
Yep. And what I was going to say in the beginning.
Listen to that's in their ear, and they believe it. And I don't. And down in Georgia, we.
Okay, Ron, you're freezing a lot.
To make an impact.
You hear me?
And our organization had. Yeah, I hear you. Our organization has made a lot of impact in various communities.
Now I was saying you were freezing a lot. That's why, and we were missing a lot of what you were saying. But I just wanted to say one thing too. I think early on in the beginning, when people start hearing about the group, you have the Congressional Black Caucus, which is a legislative body up there. And then when you had y'all came out as the Hampton Roads Black Caucus, it created some kind of confusion among voters and people out here, and they were looking at it like you all were kind of like in opposition to the already established Congressional Black Caucus, and I think that's why automatically one of the reasons you got labeled like you did, because they thought it could have been all one. I mean, you could have joined what they were doing, but I think their group is all elected officials. Am I correct, Leah?
Yeah, elected
The
officials.
Congressional Black Caucus. But just
right.
just that Black Caucus name kind of threw people off, and that's where a lot of things got kind of mixed up. And
we couldn't be a caucus, but yeah. But what is a caucus? If you go look at Webster Dictionary, what is a caucus? That all of us can be a caucus. Mm-hmm. People joining together for a particular cause. That's what the dictionary. That's what Webster say. That's what a caucus is.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just explaining that the way it was with people.
I understand what it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But let me ask about you deal with the local politics and
we are nonpartisan. We use
Okay, I was going to ask you deal with the local politics, and how deep do you all get in? You said you got representatives in with your 200 membership in all of the cities. So how deep do you get into the individual cities, and how much are you aware of what's going on there? Some common things throughout Hampton Roads, like crime, you got poverty, inclusion or lack thereof, inclusion in certain things, disparity in minority contracting and things like that. And those things are common throughout all the cities. So how deep do you all get into that as far as picking candidates in each one of the cities? Do you really get involved, or any city that gets more attention than others? Or how do you go about that? Because it's kind of important. Each city has things in common, but each city has their own different identities as well.
That's true. And you have to, and one size won't fit all. And so you have to deal with each city based on their need. And that's what we look at. And we try to work through the local elected officials to bring a relief to the African-American community. Whether it's Virginia Beach not having no black, you got the fewest black judges in the Commonwealth, and being the largest city in the Commonwealth. We had to address that issue. Crime, we had to address that in all, just about Norfolk, Portsmouth, all of them. We had to address that with people, met with the police chiefs. They came on to the podcast, talked about it. We said, we said we just can't sit back and allow this to go down. So we started an initiative of gun buyback and working with the local elected people to allow us to take the guns off the street and get corporate donors to donate and give us gift cards to exchange. We tried to, and not only that, affordable housing. We was in Norfolk fighting for a developer to put a affordable housing on 35th Street that would support that corridor, working with the local officials, because affordable housing is needed. So we're all over the place from education. People call about education needs or questions or a disparity. It's all kinds of things. We all, each city got their own nuances.
And Ron,
telling you,
when you meet,
and I see a lot of it from out in.
When you meet in these cities,
go ahead.
In these various, when you meet in these various cities, addressing the issues that has been identified in those cities, who do you generally meet with in the cities in order to make sure that it is addressed to the proper individuals?
It depends upon what is the issue, because if it can be handled at the city manager level, then we'll work through the city manager. If I have to get city council involved and the city manager don't look like he want to do, then I work through those city council members, because if it takes 5 votes to move something, because like in some cities, it take anything for that city manager to do, it takes 5 votes. So you got to whip your votes to say, hey, this issue needs to be addressed, and 5 of you need to get on board, especially those we have endorsed, to work through it and see how we can work through it. And a lot of times we try to work behind the scene. I don't care who gets the credit, as long as the issue get resolved. It's no big eyes and little U's with me and with our organization. All we want is the results, and you have to work through state officials too, because they widening out roads and messing up people's property, and somebody said on the highway committee had to call this delegate up and say, hey, my member say you messing up his property, and this highway department don't want to fix it. Then next thing you know, it get resolved. We move on to the next issue. Mm-hmm. A lot of things we do, we don't get no recognition. Because I don't know. We just do it and keep going, and people just say thank you and keep going. It's just like in Virginia Beach. Yeah, and just like in Virginia Beach, they had nothing dedicated to King. We was the last city. Virginia Beach was the last city, and when we fought to get Virginia Beach Boulevard from the ocean front all the way to the Norfolk City line dedicated to King, who you think came out against us? Who do you think came out against us?
Tell us.
It was people look like you and I. And people in the city hall came like, what in the world is this? Our own people came out against us. But it got passed because we worked the votes.
Did they express why they came out against?
To try to take the sign down on the ocean front.
Did they express why they came out against it?
Things, and it shouldn't be done, and because I had to call down to the Martin Luther King Center to get it approved that we could do it and get their approval. But those are the type of nuances that we come up against in trying to get work done in our own communities. But we got to give voices to those that can't speak for themselves. We get parents calling about educational problems, and we have to address that with the local school board. Why is child being mistreated, being beat up in the bathroom? Y'all knew this was gonna happen, didn't do nothing about it. It's just stuff that we take care of. We try to address in each and every community that no one ever hears about, because we're not about putting our names in neon lights. It's about getting the results for our people.
So how and what other mechanisms can the citizens find out more about the Hampton Roads Black Caucus,
when people
other than your Facebook page, because so many individuals are still not on Facebook? Or how else could they get to know more about what it is you're doing, and where you meet, and how do you become a part of the Hampton Roads Black Caucus? Other than Facebook.
So we have constant contact, website page, YouTube, X, used to be Twitter, TikTok, but and we're out in the community. If there is, like, we did National Night Out, there are various back to school drives we do. So, and we work with other community organizations. So we're out there.
Great.
Yeah, I just want to ask, one of the best ways to probably create change or look for change is to look for candidates that might will look for people that might be good candidates. Do you all have any programs where you might try to cultivate future candidates for office? A lot of groups do that, and not necessarily to mold their mind into the thinking of the group, but just to prepare future candidates for office that, because often we see people running that might not be prepared. And we see a lot of people running, and it sort of hurts the folks of people who really should be in there. Do y'all have any programs where y'all try to, and I don't want to use the word train, I want to just try to help future candidates be ready for office? You have anything like that?
The Hampton Roads Black Caucus? No, we don't.
Is that something you might want to do in the future? Because that's the best way to try to get candidates in there that are prepared for the office, are educated on the issues, and probably will carry the banner of most of the people that you all represent.
It's a thought. We can always bring it to the board, and then we bring it to the members if the board approves.
Okay, so we have about 3 more minutes left. We end about 8 o'clock. So I want to thank you for coming on, and hopefully we'll do a part 2 of this, and get Ron on when we has a better internet connection, so we won't miss out on some of the things. Look, he's trying to get back in now. Let's see if we can. There he is. But anyway, we want to thank you for coming on and answering the questions from our host. It still might be some questions. It might take a while for people to really understand, because, once people get in their head a certain thing about anything, it's kind of hard to convince them. You have to really do some convincing to change their minds, and if they change at all, or some of your actions might dictate how people feel.
You will never be able to change everyone's mind. But my whole thing is about choices. I really hated when this whole thing was going on. People was like, you're black, so you're supposed to vote for Democrats. But even though I may side with a Democrat, Republican, or independent, like Princess was the candidate I wanted to win, but she didn't. So it's about choices. I hate the little boxes that we put each other in.
Yeah, and it's hard too. And sometimes you might have some members carrying that Republican banner with certain people that they talk to, and that was going on too. So if you have people, and every group have those internal things going on that hurt the group. So you had some people that were carrying that Republican banner around. And that's another reason it was so convincing to a lot of people.
But the group consists of Republican, Democrat, Independent. It's a group of all of us who come together for this common goal of making lives better in the African American community. Me, myself, I am disappointed in both parties. So I'm neither a Republican or a Democrat. I am a show me person. Show me what you're going to do for the people. That's me. That's my party. But other than that, it's all in there. We got Democrats. They were disappointed. But then again, you can't be too disappointed because all the years before, the Democrat governor was endorsed. And this was the first year the Republican won. I don't know if they'll win again. I don't know. It's up to the members. But it's intriguing to me that, everybody was in such an uproar.
I think it was because it was such a controversial Republican this time. It might have been different in some Republicans we had passed, but I think if a lot of people, it was just it was the choice that particular person. I think that was the issue. I think that was the big issue there. Let me see. Ron's trying to get back in.
And I know Ron said that he's going to go and meet with the governor again, and I hope he has an opportunity to ask him about the fair treatment of minorities in state contracts. And I hope he'll ask him about the division, his state health commissioner who says that talking about racism alienates white people. And I hope that he will ask him about his crusade against racial equality in education. All of those things need to be addressed because all of those things impact upon our community. So I know you're going to meet again, and I hope that those things come up, and I hope you get an answer from him. We know which direction he's going in because he's already shown us which direction he's going in because he really wants to be the president for the Republican ticket. But prayerfully, we can get some answers, and we just need to hear that answer.
Yeah, and you're so right, Leah, because one of the things on the white paper was diversity in his cabinet, and he hasn't shown that. And he got two people, one in the Secretary of Veteran Affairs and the Secretary of the Commonwealth, where they don't have great influence over nothing hardly. Mm-hmm. And so when we met, when he said you got to give us either undersecretaries that look like us or secretaries that look like us that have influence, because we put them in that place. They can address some of our concerns. Diversify your cabinet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's on that white paper.
And Ron, I'm hoping because James and I came to the program when the Attorney General came and he was going to do all this about crime and in the city of Portsmouth. He made that big spiel, got that big public profile out there. Heard nothing else from him. When he left, heard nothing else from him. You know,
we have to figure that out. When I asked him, I asked specifically at that Portsmouth thing, what did you learn from this, and what are you going to do about it? Mm-hmm. And he did not give us an answer.
And we
already knew that. Because
he didn't have an answer.
I asked.
I want to also give Nina her props again with the Caucus connection. You asked a lot of good questions to each one of those candidates who are up there, even if they weren't really answering it. You still were able to keep asking it, and we could tell whether or not they even wanted to answer those.
Exactly, Conrad, exactly.
Yeah, but we will continue to hold candidates accountable for getting our endorsement, and not only that, Leah, some of the things that you mentioned that's on that white paper. Mm-hmm. That's on that white paper. And we haven't seen no movement.
When you go, Ron, I want you and Nina to come back and share with us.
Keep meeting with them, and we want to see those statements and questions too.
Yeah,
exactly.
You want to see the white paper?
Yeah, the white paper. Yeah, because because we met he had something at the Western, and I said I need to meet with you because we endorse you. We need to give you our concern, and he met with me too. He met with us, and we met, and we gave him the white paper. Mm-hmm.
Ron, it looks like he is great at meeting with and having photo ops with Black people. That's all he does. Mm-hmm. He meets with them. He has photo ops. He does nothing else. Mm-hmm. That's it.
You have a point. Mm-hmm.
Well, and just like you all holding him accountable, we should hold all our elected officials accountable.
Yeah.
Sometimes we back off, not holding some accountable because we like them, because they, have done some things. But, when they make mistakes, we have to hold them accountable, Democrat, Republican, or whatever. And this is a clear example of having conversations with people that you might not normally have conversations with them, because you never know how much you have in common as opposed to how much you differ from those people. Mm-hmm. Which is why I'm glad we had you on, and we want to have you back. And Ron, next time, use what you're using now, because I think we missed out on a lot of good points that you made because you kept freezing. And I think we the people that's watching might have missed out on some things, explanations that they needed to hear concerning the Hampton Roads Black Caucus.
Yeah, because one of the things, Mr. James, the Black Caucus is here to enhance the Black community. It's not here to disenfranchise it or anything. Because power precedes power. People will put a falsehood on you in order to retain power if they feel you are infringing on their power or their status. That's why Jesus went to the cross, remember? Because he was infringing on the Pharisees and the Sadducees' power. They said he got to go. And that's what happens sometimes in our society. And one of the things that we're working on an initiative to try to get our people to leave generational wealth instead of poverty. We are working behind the scenes to try to start working on that initiative. Because we need to leave wealth, not debt. Because when we came out of slavery, we weren't like the Israelites coming out of slavery with gold and cattle and materialism. They didn't give us nothing but our ancestors, but nothing but the shoes on their feet and the clothes on their back if they had that. So we got to learn to leave wealth to give our young people opportunity. And that's one of the initiatives that we're going to take. It's about economic development. But everybody got to understand how to do it. And got to address the issue and address it truthfully. And the truth sometimes hurts. But the thing is, it will move you from your condition to where you need to be, where children see their parents progressing, and they want to be just like that. And that's what it's all about. We have to reinvest in ourselves. And James, you and I was talking about, I said these people come in there and put these corner stores in there, take out money out of the community, and don't put nothing back in. But
back in the community.
Yeah, they take it out of our community, but put nothing back in. Don't think we see that. And that's why we got to empower our people to put our own, if we don't build a convenience store, then put our own convenience store there. So we hire the people from that community and the money is reinvested in that community.
Yeah, and that's why I was asking earlier, what are some of the things that you all look for in the candidates or look for as far as the communities, because we spend a lot of time on the Youngkins issue. And that's why I said the more we talk about other things, the more we find out what we have in common. And like you said, we talked about that, what's going on in our communities, people coming in and contributing, taking from us, but not giving back. So that's something that we have in common there.
Yeah, they taking advantage of our people, selling us Lucy cigarettes. If I pay $1 for a Lucy cigarette, if people buy 20 of them or 30 of them, he done bought a carton off of 2 packs of cigarettes. We got to be smarter than that.
Yeah, Lucy, and that's a whole nother subject for.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother.
I'm passionate about that stuff when I see my people being fleeced like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
We all do. And
we've had people to want to not be fleeced. Some people.
Yeah, that's true too.
Are not.
Yeah, and the crime, we got to eliminate crime, and we got to reduce it. You ain't gonna never eliminate it because it's but we can drive it down. I think it's driven by economics. If we can get people to leave economic wealth, give them jobs that they can afford homes, go on vacation. See, our people suffer from high blood pressure and stuff because we can't go on vacation. We can't relax. We can't bring our stress level down. We always in a go mode. But we create our own wealth where we can go on vacation, cruising, and stuff like that, bring stress, come back and tackle something for 3-4 months, go back on vacation again.
Well, Ronna, I'm glad that your internet connection is better now, but it's an hour, 4 minutes, and I'm sure they will invite us again, and you will have this great.
Come back and have a different internet connection.
Hey, it's just that I just tell everybody out there, don't listen. As we say down in Georgia, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. Get the truth for yourself. Don't let nobody feed you a narrative that will tickle your ear. Go find the truth for yourself. Yeah, because the truth will set you free. Because remember, I told you, when we dropped those endorsements out there, the chatter went away. Because the same people saying we were the Republican front, people said, wait a moment, they endorsed you.
Yeah. Well,
wait a minute. And you
like I said, we will bring you back to talk about some of these other issues. But I want to say this: the bottom line is elections matter, and who you put in office matter. And all these subjects we're talking about now, it matters who we put in the office, because it trickles down to us locally. What's going on with the issues, crime, and everything else we talk about. But we're going to have you back real soon and talk about some other issues. And we look forward to having the Colonel back here. And I'm sure the Colonel will have some commentary or some questions he would like to ask as well. So,
okay, no problem.
Colonel is our political guru, so we're going to bring him back and bring you back when he's available to come back, and he has
no problem. You know.
But again, we want to thank everybody for coming. We want to thank you, Conrad, for coming on. We want to thank you, Nina. We want to thank you, Ron, and Liv. Love you much.
Love you too.
Thanks, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you next time. Join us Monday morning as we're going, this being September being Suicide Awareness and Prevention Month. We're going to have Dr. Duncan on and Dr. Bruce Copeland on to talk about suicides, especially with our young African-American students and children. The rate is alarming once you talk about it. So join us then, 6:30. Take care, everybody.
Okay, y'all have a blessed time.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Goodbye, everybody.